The interesting thing about citizen journalism isn't just that you have citizens acting as traditional journalists. What's really interesting about citizen journalism is that you also have citizens doing all kinds of jobs that traditional journalists didn't do, because traditional journalists work full-time. With citizen journalism, you have a situation where someone can commit an act of journalism, as it were. Someone can have a single piece of information, be following a single piece of news, be in a single place and take a single photograph, and still contribute that to the news stream. And so it isn't just having a bunch of new actors in the journalistic ecosystem that's the difference. It's also having a much wider range of participation than we used to have. Certainly mobile devices are one of the key things that make citizen journalism possible. We've seen this steadily over the years after the awful Indian Ocean tsunami at the end of 2004, after the bombings in the London Underground in the middle of 2005. Much of the earliest documentation came from citizens taking out their phones. By now, in the streets of Tehran, when there are the 13 Abin protests that there were recently, or the protests after the June elections, we also see an enormous amount of citizens documenting their own participation in these protests and the reaction of the state. So the mobile phone is in a way the most important implementation platform for citizen journalism. Hyperlocal is although it relies on mobile phones as everything does, hyperlocal is much more, I think, a new attempt to link up what users care about, what citizen journalists are good at, and what advertisers are interested in. Jeff Jarvis, who teaches in New York, has done a lot of work recently on business models for hyperlocal journalism. And I think that is clearly going to be one of the places that we see a lot of innovation, because people know best what's around them, so it plays into the strengths of citizen journalism. And the bulk of the advertising market has always been local rather than national. It's just that up until now, digital businesses haven't really been able to capitalize on that. Hyperlocal journalism is an attempt to invent a business model that takes those advertising dollars as its source rather than national ad media, which has typically been where the media makes its money. It seems to work, that seems to not work. We're going to kill this, we're going to double down on that. That's where the big change is. Thank you very much.